Atheist Apocalypse popped into my head because that's where my train of thought was. I was watching our community de-evolve, like you were saying, and it was becoming an atheist apocalypse for me. And off of those two words, I said, I want to do something different. I want to have some fun. How can I have fun? I want to create a fictional comedy, sacred cow tipping podcast. And that's what we did. I put a comment out on an old Facebook group all the way back to going back to Cash in the Atheist on Air days. Cash, though he has moved on to bigger and better things in his life,
we've had Cash on here.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person, and his legacy may not even be Atheist on Air. It may be the community that he built, that he spawned from that show. But I went out to that page and I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking doing. Who's with me? And I had some crazy people actually decide they were going to jump into this and do it with me. And we are now in our second season. We just released our 4th episode of the second season. We'll be releasing the 5th one here pretty soon. And basically what it is, it comes out every 2 weeks. We take about a month and a half off in between seasons, but it's literally a fictional comedy set in a fictional setting. It's a radio drama, an audio drama with nothing but sacred cow tipping. We tip the cows everyone values on every side of the fence, which draws some ire sometimes, and that's okay. I'd rather you laugh. I'd rather, if they put me in a box tomorrow, if I made one person smile from Atheist Apocalypse, hey, mission accomplished. It's a lot of fun, and I'm not kidding. I set my alarm at 5:15 every day, and I get up, and by 5:30 in the morning, I'm writing for Atheist Apocalypse every day. It is for the first time in my life, I wake up excited, and that's kind of a sad thing to say considering some of the things I've done in my life, but I wake up every day excited because I know I'm going to walk downstairs to my kitchen, I'm going to pull my laptop out, and I'm going to start working on a script for Atheist Apocalypse.
Yeah. Now, actually, you said you're tipping sacred cows all over the place, but you've yet to tip actual sacred cows over yet. So that might not be something that you might add into a coming episode or something. I won't charge you much for my, I may not charge you much for my consulting fees, but you were saying.
Well, what I was saying is, as you were saying that, I was thinking, you know what, we might have to have a guest field reporter break into an episode from the mysterious government entity sometime to let folks know that there's something horrendous going on where these sacred cows are being tipped. I'm glad you actually made that point, because that's the storylines, as stupid and ridiculous and as outlandish as they are, they're all inspired from what we see every single day. The mysterious government entity is the governing body. It makes up ridiculous policies. It oppresses people. It makes absolutely no sense. And that is all inspired by what we're watching unfold now and what we've watched unfold. There are people, and I'm sure you've had this too, Jonathan, and your listeners probably have if they're on social media, who correspond with people from other countries, and those people from other countries outside of America are going, what in the world are you guys doing with this Trump fellow? I could not write this for Atheist Apocalypse. But that's where the inspiration comes from. It's just a sad reality of what we're living in, the world we're living in now. But everything that you hear in there, there's many, many Easter eggs buried in those episodes, and I will never give those away, where folks will have to do some thinking. I've had people tell me they've listened to a single episode 15 times because every single time they listen to it, they hear something new. And that's important to me because I spend about a month writing each one of those damn episodes. It takes that long to write them. But because I'm trying, here's the thing. Let's just be real. I promised you I'd be real. Comedy helps us think about issues where our biases will blind us. Every single one of us has blind spots. Everyone. Skeptics, if you're shaking your head, I'm going to throw the flag on you. You have blind spots. Through comedy, we're able to talk about those things and address those, make you laugh, and I hope make you think. And that's what's really important to me about that project.
if a skeptic is saying they don't have blind spots, then they're not a skeptic.
No, you're preaching to the choir now on that one.
That's oh my goodness. All right, well, we're going to go into our last break here. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of hearing the same old depressing news?
Exhausted with the state of the world and see no hope for its future?
Then why not escape reality with the Atheist Apocalypse podcast?
Come meet the people in the mysterious events of the Tri-Counties, where the despair is hilarious and the baseless hopelessness is scarce.
A fictional comedy audio story, unlike anything in the podcasting realm. Atheist Apocalypse will take you away from your daily woes while informing you about the secret plot to take over the planet.
Stupid. Don't tell the listeners of the show that. I'm not ready.
Sorry, I thought they should know.
You're an idiot. They need to listen to Atheist Apocalypse first. Otherwise, they'll be unprepared for the news.
If your podcast lineup needs some comedy, or even if it doesn't, add Atheist Apocalypse Podcast to your queue to enjoy our bi-weekly adventures with the wacky cast and crew. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and YouTube, or find all the information you need at atheistapocalypse.com.
Paul, how could you say that? Listener Paul's just asked me about...
So, Chris, this the will cut your cut your off.
Oh my God, Paul, no! Ooh! Why? Why would you ask something like that?
I have no idea.
Man, the hell. I thought we were
Well,
friends.
I was just curious. I saw that thing that you posted over there on that social media site, and I was curious, so I asked.
Yeah, I know you're curious. I know what kind of curious you are.
Are you judging? Do I need to release a social justice warrior on you right now?
No, that's fine. I'm good. Oh, man. I love doing this sometimes.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. Oh, you mentioned during the break, other than me asking ask me that horrible question, pose the question that you had posed during the break there about we were just chatting during the ads about the community.
Yeah, the community.
You were wanting to talk about the atheist community and the polarization that you saw.
Oh, yeah. So here's my thing. I realize this is your show and I'm your guest and you're being a great host, but because I also have a couple, maybe handful of podcasts, I'm kind of comfortable asking the questions. So let me turn the tables on you real quick so your listeners can hear you be put on the spot by me.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Yeah. So here's my struggle with remaining involved in the secular skeptical community. I see a lot of good work being done, but unfortunately, when I do the cost benefit analysis, I see too many costs for me to find it attractive. I've actually really pulled out of activism. I will do some humanist efforts here in my local community and I will donate. But as far as vociferous activism, it's lost its flavor for me. So I'm curious to hear your actual thoughts on it, Jonathan, about how you see the secular community in respect to polarization. Do you see polarization? And if so, if you look into the out years, are you encouraged or are you discouraged by what you see when you kind of project out there and go, what will we be in 5 years if we keep it up at this rate?
That's a very nuanced question, and it's going to require a very nuanced answer. But I do need to know, you pulled out of activism. Who is she, and does Mrs. Q know about her?
Oh, yeah, totally. She's totally cool with it. I met her on Grindr or one of those things that you kids use.
Couldn't help that. But Polarization in the atheist community, and again, listeners, if you don't want to call it a community, if you just want to call it a body or whatever you want to call it, it's my show. I can call it what I want.
Right.
Yes. I see polarization all over the place. Just not too long ago, the kerfuffle with Richard Dawkins and Nexus and the Skeptics of New York about the Islamist and feminist video, that blew up almost instantaneously. And it was just amazing how quickly everyone jumped all over him, and he actually pulled it down. He didn't know at the time that they were actually depicting someone, a feminist that had been, physical violence, threatened to her, rape threats, death threats. And as soon as he found out that it was actually depicting a real person, he took it down. But without even discussing or even trying to see what had actually happened with Dawkins, the committee that oversees Nexus, by the way, is the Northeast Conference on Science and Skepticism. If you remember last week with Bob, we had him on here. We didn't broach this because he's not part of the governing body of Nexus, but and by the way, I am a huge fan of Nexus. I've been there 3 times. It was just amazing that the panel of the governing body, like we were just saying, weren't skeptical, weren't being critical of their own knee-jerk reactions. And it's amazing that a week later, whenever Dawkins, well, actually he got, I believe he said he got the message from the Nexus panel saying, hey, we've thought about it, we did something wrong, we want to re-invite you. Then he had a stroke.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a perfect point right there, showing the polarization, the knee-jerk reactions that in the atheist and skeptical communities, and it's brush fires everywhere you go. I'm sure just me being candid like this, and notice I'm not saying one way or the other how I feel about the situation. I'm sure somebody's going to give us some nasty feedback about this, even though I haven't endorsed one side or the other. I'm actually quite a fan of both Nexus and Richard Dawkins. So, yeah, I mean, I see it, and it's there. And how's it going to be in 5 years? The optimist in me hopes that we can look at situations like that and draw back into ourselves and learn from that. The pessimist in me says, it ain't going to fucking happen.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, unfortunately. I really do.
And by all means, I still have my own biases and things like that. I know that. It's just, it's one of those day-to-day things. Welcome to being human,
Well, and it should. My problem with it, and why I was interested in hearing your thoughts, is if we're going to tout this tagline of being critical thinkers and critical analyzers of data and situations and the undefinable and yada yada yada, we should do a better job than we are doing. So it's, for me, that's the crux of that's where I have the heartache with it, because who are we to go online, go on Twitter and laugh at a creationist if we can't, as a community, as a grouping of people with a common aim, if we can't have someone in our midst who's a Republican or, God forbid, a libertarian. Because that's reality. We can't, right? If you watch the opinions online, we're all supposed to be card-carrying Democrats. No questions asked. And if we're not, step back, because the gang is about to jump. It gets crazy. So for me, it's very hypocritical to watch the same group of people who go laugh at a creationist for their opinions and or even let's just say a believer. Because creationists are easy targets. But let's say someone who believes there is a God, there's a personal savior, who will also condemn someone else because they're not a card-carrying Democrat. Hillary or Bernie, even though Bernie's getting his ass kicked, doesn't matter to me. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's almost laughable. I've lost friends, people that you and I both used to share as friends, that no longer will talk to me because they don't like that I'll pick on Bernie, that I'll pick on Hillary, that I'll pick on Democrats. And I've made the comment before that politics is the atheist religion. And it is. go online and go look at what atheists are posting about and go tell them they're wrong about Bernie or Hillary.
Yeah. Oh,